Stuff.
Guys,
And we are back.
we gave so much of technology overload that system crashed. Okay, so we're back. Yes, Frank, crash the system again. Go ahead.
Yes, yes. I think we have a really good combination here. We have farming expert, right? York, Simba. You are also the soil expert, and we have Paul here. Is the service provider. For the drones, and we are the data infrastructure, right? For the environmental and weather data, especially the outdoor IoT data. So I think one thing that excites me really, very much about this hybrid model, because this is what I'm talking about, the incorporating DePIN into the traditional model, right? Which is the hybrid model, is that every party will benefit from it, right? So as Paul mentioned, the farmers, they don't have the huge cost upfront. We have the service providers who pay for the data, and we get the revenue, and there's especially this token value generated in the flow. And another thing is don't is worth mentioning that the data actually from a single set of device is, wow, I see Sky 100. Wow, thank you for your support,
Yes.
Douglas. Uh, yeah, so for a single set of devices, right? The data will be utilized in multiple ways, right? So previously in traditional markets, farmers, agriculture company will utilize the data, right? They pay for the for the hardware, for the data solution. But now we know a few other parties will be really interested in the data as well, right? In addition to the agriculture companies, for example, governments, AI companies, data aggregators, weather service providers, right? And with our infrastructure in place, the ROI of that deepinized device is multiplied, right? So better ROI, better revenue streams, and token value is generated. And also for the deployer, right? For the investor, uh, they also get, they not only get the token reward, they also get the share of data revenue, right, within the model. So everyone's going to benefit from it, and the impact of the data is amplified, right, with this hybrid model. So and because you guys mentioned, the farmers looking, the me coins and things like that. I think one phenomenon that we had before, right, in a farm. Think about this. Who gets, the crop information first? It's us, because we are the data infrastructure. All of us get the information first. And previously, probably 3-4 years back, right, when we did the Apple farms, right, the Apple land, we predicted a big drop in the Apple futures price in 4 months' time, because our device detects, the disaster, like the heavy rain and associated damage, arising from it. And that happened in China, by the way. And we are kind of the indicator of any commodity pricing, futures pricing, if we can have a good coverage of a land, agricultural land, with our device, right? And that can be actually associated with the futures price, right? The futures trading. And I would say there will be financial impact coming out of this, right? So if you look at bigger picture, I think it's going to be very impactful in many ways. Not only, probably, the first one is the for the farmers, right, for agriculture companies. Second is the a larger market impact we can have. So I would say, data always comes first, and monetizing, utilizing the data is our job to do, and making a better world, right? That's the ultimate goal. Yeah.
Well, yo, I have to say something before you interrupt. Hopefully, I sound all right. But the only thing I'm thinking about is like, man, like the farmers can like use this stuff to like, you know, man, see what's coming, see, how much rain has fell on their crops or whatnot. But not only that, like early warning devices for like people like I live in like the tornado belt. So you got
Mm.
about 15 minutes. But if we had all these SkyX sensors everywhere, you could see the inflows and the outflows and stuff that, there's only so many weather stations. There's so much out here that these like the big news channels have right now. But if you bring DePIN like SkyX into this stuff, you're talking about like hundreds of thousands of stuff like in every city and every point. You would know the inflows, the outflows, the high pressures, the low pressures, where the tornadoes at or whatnot. It'll save people's lives or whatnot. Yeah, I may have had a drink or two. I get a little passionate. But anyway, but I mean, I'm just saying stuff like that. This is why, and I'm very passionate about weather, and I've always have been. I chased tornadoes as a kid. I lived in Oklahoma. So it's just like they jump out of nowhere. You can see a hurricane coming. You can't see an earthquake coming. And it's very rare you can see a tornado coming. But stuff like SkyX right there, bro, they can sense that stuff a mile away.
Well,
I
it was
mean, it's
interesting.
life
Like,
changing stuff, man.
when we were in Dubai, Frank, when we did the presentation, you were on stage. I'm a very keen observer. So I was sitting in the next panel. So I was sitting in the side, and it's all the sheikhs of Dubai that are there, and their excellencies and stuff are listening to everything. And I noticed the moment you started speaking about using SkyX data to be able to predict the kind of flooding that happened the last time Token 2049 was happening, they perked up. Because you can tell, like they hear a lot of things, and you can kind of see when they're interested and see when they're just listening. And I noticed that the moment you brought up that topic, at least one of them put their phone down and was full attention listening because you could understand the impact that it's going to have, right? And then when you really think about it, like, okay, let's imagine here in Indonesia, if our systems can predict the crop yields that are going to happen in 4 months, and the future side is the market side. That's the use case no matter what. But the if that prediction can then go out to the purchasers of of those commodities, and they can know, hey, we're not going to have enough rice, or we're not going to have enough staple goods, or we're not going to have enough apples to be able to feed our people, and they can then shift their supply to a different supplier through Farmsent. Now that country is going to have better food pricing, and food pricing is actually one of the last things that causes a country to become unstable, right? And so in these kind of times,
Wow.
like we say, if food reaches tables, prices remain stable. And for us to be able to project that, it's actually priceless. And then if you tell the government
Yeah,
here, hey, you can actually see what kind of weather patterns are going to happen, I think that that's literally where the world is headed.
yeah. I think Frank,
Timber.
And what's saying is just the half circle of the story, right? The other half is prediction, right? Imagine you're collecting all the micro weather data, and then you're collecting soil data, and weaving a story. What's happening? How the crop reacts to these micro weather patterns, right? And after you collect those for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you literally can give it to artificial
Mm.
absolutely.
intelligence, fine tune it, and can
Yep.
say, hey, you must be doing something wrong now. Your crop is going to be spoiled. Why? Because I have seen this data and their crop didn't go well.
Absolutely,
So
man.
we can avoid the issues well before, right? And then more agriculture scientists will join then to fine tune this. So do not take data so lightly. When we were thinking that data is the new oil is a cliche, but it's not. Massive amount of data will actually fix most of the system. Before, we didn't have that opportunity because artificial intelligence wasn't really at its fore, but now we have. That's why I'm super bullish on what SkyX is doing, and super bullish on what we are doing in Farmsent, and then of course Paul can come in Drondash and use this data and hover over and say, hey, should I spray here or not? No, skip, move to the next
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
right? And that reduces the labor, because right now most of the agriculture application is like mindlessly spray.
Machine gun, right?
And Paul has done a
Mm.
calculation. He's already saving 50%.
Wow.
And when we talk about 2,000 hectares, 5,000 hectares, 50% cost savings is not a
It's
small
not,
Well,
amount.
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
just cost savings.
It's
It's like you're
massive.
saving on
It will,
pesticide and fertilizer. You're saving the soil, right? And the
yeah,
plants get what they're
yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to. Wow.
exactly. You're saving the soil.
Yeah, I think what's really, really
Right?
interesting
So
here is the like you say, Yorka and Frank, the ability to predict. Okay, so with all the data that we gather, we can really safely say, hey guys, this year's yield is not going to be very good for the next quarter because solar radiation together with soil sensors together with weather says that this is not a good mix. Yeah, and then the next quarter is not going to be very good. So this is very, very powerful information
Hmm.
for the government, for the entire industry. Wow, this is crazy, man, guys. This is really new tech for the new world, man, in
Life
agriculture.
changing data, bro. Life
Life
changing data.
changing, life changing, man. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and actually,
definitely.
one of the use cases of Drone Dash that I'm pumped about is like, in this future world, currencies are actually going to be backed by a basket of assets, and the most prominent asset that they're going to be backed by is actually natural capital. I'm part of the Global Blockchain Business Council, and we're having these conversations all the time, and we're talking about how, okay, natural capital is nature that's tokenized and through carbon credits, right? But when you look at the details of all of it, the thing that's missing from being able to tokenize a forest is the ability to be able to sense the forest, the ability to be able to, effectively, in this case, fly a drone over it, be able to, know how many trees there are, know, and then be able to verify how many trees are still there, right? Which trees they are, da 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 da. So like the infrastructure we're putting down, the sensors, the soil sensors, the tree sensors, all of this is the data that goes out to, in this case, the UN, and the UN can then have remote verifiability of a forest. They have verifiability that crop production is happening, fine, but they have verifiability that the crop production isn't destroying the forest. That's a double check.
Yeah,
And then we can even use it in the forest itself to tokenize carbon. And Indonesia has 6.8 trillion dollars of nature to tokenize today. And I think it was a Stanford study or something said by
Simba, just
2050.
pause there. That is twice than the entire market cap of so-called crypto.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calm down,
But wait,
yo.
hear this, hear this, hear
Yeah,
this,
go
hear
ahead.
this, hear this. By 2050, natural capital tokenization is calculated at $5 quadrillion, which is about 4 times the size of the entire world's economy, including nominal price of derivatives. Now we're talking about quadrillions, and we're building the infrastructure to do that. So I'm pretty sure somewhere along the way the project will go up, and somebody will be happy that this is all happening. Hopefully, no promises, guys. By the way, this is crypto. Okay.
And probably for a change, we will sit in a boardroom to put, let's try to have 0.001% of
Exactly.
that TAN, right? Instead of giving, let's have 10% of that or 15% of that,
Exactly.
right? But so that's what is available. Why these legends are so bullish about DePIN, and the fact that we are associated with farmers, and then as Simba said, like about economy that is yet to be built.
you're absolutely right. Yeah,
It is actually bringing a lot of people and creating an inclusive economy. Before, it was few centralized guys putting in their balance sheet and everything was looking good. But right now, everybody can take part. And thanks to tokenization, thanks to DePIN, you can pretty much, like Dark Virus was just showing off, right? And Frank is sitting in right now in Singapore, maybe, and
I
Dark Virus is in
am I the only one
US.
who is hearing
Having
him in slow
bigger.
motion?
No. Pay your internet bill, bro.
Maybe I was flowing.
You guys are good. Keep going. Yeah, you're both good. Go
No,
ahead.
Can you hear me now, Simba? Let's give mic to Frank till I fix, if anything.
Yeah,
We literally have the entire world covered now.
It's Frank stage. Shh.
yeah, I really look forward to our first testing in Malaysia, and uh, we because we previously we worked with cotton farms, apple farms, uh, and also the grass, and back in New Zealand before COVID, we partnered with Frontera, uh, a mass service in that area for farming. Now we are trying to establish our connections in Europe as well. I think we want to build a role model, right, in Asia to solve the local problems with the infrastructure, with all the sensors and services, right? And I think that's gonna benefit all the parties, and especially for the business model, right? We want to make it feasible to work also in monetary values, right? So,
Yeah.
and then we can expand much more, quickly. I think is quite disruptive. Uh, so I'm so excited, to see this happen. And I agree with Paul and you guys about the future of low altitude, economy, and about the drones, robots, and I also expect to see our influence or our impact on the financial markets, right? Because financial markets is all about, our commodities is one big sector over there. So we want to, try to create something related to that as well. But right, the data, the infrastructure always come first. And with all,
Yeah.
our effort, we're gonna see that happening. Yeah. So I'm so excited. And uh, yeah, I think we are a good combination here.
Yeah, I totally agree. If you look at just weather, or you look at just soil, you
Yeah.
don't get a full picture, But now when you combine land and air, right?
Yeah.
Wow, it's
We also
the
we also
data is
combine. Yeah,
powerful.
we also combine. We also integrate satellite data, right? Because when we like measure the crop, uh you know, output, right? Uh, Not only the hyperlocal data, we also need the satellite data, right? Looking from above and see the crop, right? And then combine all those data, train them. And by the way, in terms of modeling, right, we're gonna utilize some of the traditional, like the numerical, modeling, and together with AI, right? It's also a combined modeling to come up with
Mm.
a better, forecasting for the crop management. So, and yeah, and we were gonna use. I think we are, we're gonna be the one party that has all the data information, right? So
Yep.
any party who's interested can collect from us, can call from us. But ultimately, we want to provide better solutions for the users, for the end customers. I think that's the most value, right? That's the most value generated from the whole set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simba, you have seen that in other countries, like you were in Canada and US. You're used to farmers using technology, but how you interpret this from Southeast Asia perspective, where we haven't seen that much of technology in farms.
Well, the the fact that there is this carte blanche state in Southeast Asia is actually a huge benefit, because what I notice is the technology that gets used in places like Canada and developed nations, it has a lot of decision bias. So a lot of the technology is built around Web 2 technology. So for you to go in and replace the whole thing and rebuild it is very expensive. There's a lot of incumbents in there, and farmers are not reticent to go. If they're going to make 5-7% difference from what they're making now, it's not very useful to them. And farmers move very slowly, right? Farmers actually are very wary about technology when they've started using it. uh, in this kind of state, we have whole countries that are looking for these new technologies to be deployed. There aren't existing structures for us to fight against. If anything, the kind of efficiencies that we can offer, 50%, though, that is life changing for most of them. But even more importantly, it's been so interesting being an insider and watching what's happening, right? Because in Canada, I was working at one of the two. I worked at both of the biggest telcos in Canada, one a $21 billion company and a $12 billion company, and they would move slower than snails. I literally had a implementation, a literally one click solution that I gave them that would save them about $1.5 million per year for this one company, and it took them 6 months to even get approval for somebody to look at it. Whereas with us, I'll just get a call from Yog, right? And Yog will be like, "Oh, bro, you good? Okay." I spoke to Frank, and it just happened, and I'm like, "It's done." He's like, "It's done."
Web
You know,
three, baby.
exactly right. And I'm not even going to tell you what it is. We'll tell you once it's done, because there's we keep things secret until we do it. But I'll get a call and it'll be like, "I spoke to Frank and this is done. I spoke to Paul and this is done." And it's like we're collaborating in this way where we're synergistically kind of supporting each other through the mission, and the decisions are made like that, and we are creating progress at the speed of blockchain, right? When you combine that with a completely blank slate, I think people have no idea how quickly this technology is going to actually be proliferated across the world. At the same time, the world itself is asking for this change. The world is asking for better solutions and better economics, right? This the old kind of capitalist me, I take everything economics is done, and the we economics is here, and the open source ways that we work are they're building literally the new way of life.
I'm gonna have to say
Just
no,
imagine,
yo. I
right?
have to. Sorry, I'm sorry, bro. I'm still hungover. I have to interrupt.
Go ahead, go
So
ahead. You
I'm
always
gonna have to say, like, we've all seen Star Trek, right? Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do they say in Star Trek? They just, in their future, they don't get wages. They just work to better themselves. There's no wages because everything is equal. The food, everything, the housing, it's all equal.
Yep.
I think that's something we need, and stuff like like SkyX. I mean, man, I live in Oklahoma, bro. I mean, we've got radars everywhere, but I'm telling you, if we had like sensors, like every square mile, you could save so many lives. You could see microbursts. You could see everything, like especially in the dark, like storm chasers run around and stuff, but SkyX works in the dark. It can measure humidity, pressure, the wind. It knows where everything's at. And if there's those sensors everywhere, it knows where everything's at in the dark. It's crazy. I don't know. I was going with that yoke. I got
and
lost.
and, and
How?
also to extend what Doug was saying. Remember that we are having 0.1% agriculture infrastructure that are indoor.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everything is outdoor, right? You think, yeah, we have so many advanced countries. No, take the world as statistics. Your benchmark, right? You see barely any. We can be excited about vertical farming. We can be excited about indoor plants, but no, food comes from 99% and more from the outfits.
Yo,
So
I couldn't
imagine,
even get DoorDash to my own house because I live in the country. That's how bad it is, bro.
right? And with
You can,
we keep hearing about El Nino and these affecting weather. Just imagine, just imagine a case, and I will just try to simplify uh, or oversimplify. Just imagine you didn't visualize rain is coming, and you put all the nutrients and everything throughout your 2,000 hectare plantation. Here, rain arrives, right? All your nutrients and everything is gone. That's how you lose money with every single thing. So that is why um, although this is an oversimplification, but that is how important weather is. That is how important to know how your soil is talking to you. You need to know the soil language, right? That's why if you look at a lot of big movements right now are talking about preserving the soil, because we are losing the topsoil, we're losing food, and just for everybody to know that food is not grown in the supermarket, just to be sure.
Well, and when
That's
you actually
right,
look
baby.
at the way when you
Go
actually look
ahead,
at the way our
Sebastian.
ecosystems work, right? What you see in the crypto world, in the blockchain world, is one project comes out, the project goes out, the project gets users, the project, it's this like slog where the project's doing it alone. With our ecosystem, it's like if I go onboard a bunch of farmers, they're going to automatically be added into Dronedash's ecosystem, and they're automatically going to be in the SkyX ecosystem, and we're automatically going to share data, right? So it's not like we're all doing this mission alone. We're building together, and for me, like that's one of the biggest things about Peak that I love, that we are all doing real stuff. So none of us are putting dogs on, hats on dogs and getting rich from it. Uh, and then we come together and we go,
Don't
hey,
get tag virus started on it.
I know. Listen, I bought some. I put some hats on dogs too. Not gonna lie, bro. I made some money from. I got some whiff in my portfolio, but like it's real stuff. And then you bring us all together and you say, hey, we're coming from this side. You come from this side. You come from this side, and it tackles the problems way more easily. And when you extrapolate that going forward, ecosystem for 10 years, and then what you see is millions, billions of machines, thousands of projects all working together, all sharing resources, all sharing users, all sharing data. I think that dynamo's it's beyond what any of us can understand.
So
Yeah.
here's small thing I thought, and I didn't yet told it to Paul. Okay, so we need to always demark the areas, as Frank was saying, that a lot of data is required from satellite, right? You need to always mark the areas, but how do you mark areas in a dense forest or in a large one? So what do? Like you go around and walk, right? Instead, you will actually run the drone, take the picture, mark the field boundary, give a field ID. That field ID
That's
is
right.
stored on chain in Peak. Now, that field ID is unique. And all the data, everything happening, soil, weather, satellite data, all contribute to that field ID. And that's the ultimate form of traceability, because we know everything going on there. How much
Yeah.
pesticide you put, how much nutrient you put, are you destroying the forest? Everything, all the data are coming in one place, the scan of
In
a
one
QR code,
place.
right?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
that utilizes how many projects? So
Hmm.
Drondash, SkyX being the prominent one here, Farmsent for soil data, Mapmetrics for map data, Peak for machine identities, and this. I can just go on and go on,
Bro,
right?
Peak is sharing all that. That's what I love about Peak. It's just like, you can share. It's all, it was a little before its time, but they're sharing all that information with all these projects, and it can help everybody, and it's all just shared, freely. That's what's truly amazing about Peak, and people have no idea what's fixing to come. They have no idea, bro.
Hmm.
It's so amazing. The Peak is amazing. You're amazing. Y'all are amazing. Pass
You're
my
amazing.
bedtime.
Your
No,
face is
you're
amazing.
Yeah.
amazing.
I can't even see it, but it's amazing.
Okay,
So
so now
I
let's
would
talk
also just
about.
love to hear. Wait, there's a little bit of a delay. I would also just love to hear a little bit of, like, I know we can't give away too many of the juicy details, but I'd love to just hear a little bit about like what's coming up for Drone Dash, what's coming up for SkyX. Just give us a little bit of alpha. I think a lot of people would love that. So let's start with Paul.
Frank.
Sir, can you what's going on? Oh, gentlemen first. Frank, please go ahead.
Frank. Yep. Yeah.
Paul, are you go first?
Yeah. Frank, you can go first.
Okay, yeah. So, Yeah, I mean, we are about to launch our professional grade device. I think a very interesting feature is it has a camera on top, so it captures sky image. That's a function I think lots of users would really love to to check. Whenever they go, they just see the sky, and if it rains, right, they know immediately, right? And sky image is also a very important data input for a lot of applications, right? So and just echo back to previously, just one, I want to add one point, because when we work with farmers, right, and we always find their other needs. For example, I give you example, like they have livestock, right, and they want to monitor how the livestock will be fed, right, with water and all the stuff. They want to monitor that. And also we are working on a smart sprinkler. Actually, it can work with Farmsent, because the sprinkler actually water the farmland with, like, we can incorporate the soil data and rainfall data to tell the farmer, oh, it's good time for you to do the watering, right? So all of those, I think, will generate our kind of mold, right, or ecosystem for us to be a better shape, right, for our business model to be successful, right? So yeah, I'm so excited. And another thing, update for us, is that we're gonna launch our AI-backed weather app pretty soon. So it's comparable to Yahoo Weather, but with I would say with more useful user experience, because it targets users who are traveling, who are playing, like who are the outdoor hobbyists, right? Especially sensitive to hyperlocal weather data. So
Especially like dark virus, in nutshell.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, there are a couple of things gonna come up, but yeah. So let's wait.
Love it.
Nice,
Beautiful.
nice.
Love it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can't wait to try this, because with Frank, I see a consistency in user experience, and this is what we've been focusing also, right? So yeah, can't wait to try. Let's see, Paul,
nice.
from
Sure.
my
Wow.
KY.
Yeah. So Drone Dash is actually positioning itself to be like a value enabler now. So you see a lot of DePIN projects, right? So we've come together, and like York says, there's a lot more other DePIN projects that we can bring together, and so we look at ourselves as a value enabler. So we bring DePIN projects into solving real world problems. So agriculture is one of it. Logistics is another one that we're going to look into. But for the time being, agriculture, because like I like I stated from the beginning, they've got real problems that they need to solve because they're very, very labor intensive. Labor cost is going up. Again, I shared this, and the shortage of manpower. As people get more educated, they don't want to work in a farm.
Mhm.
They don't want to work in a farm because it's hard work. So we really need to go in and create and solve the problem by bringing technologies in. And we see ourselves as an enabler. So we bring projects together. We bring the Web3 community into the Web2 community. So we are solving real world problems, and at the same time, we're creating real world revenues as well, which is extremely important for every business. I think I've mentioned in the last AMA that business fundamentals is extremely important. Yeah. So what's business fundamentals? That means to say that you must be solving real problems, and someone is paying you for it. And again, I said this the last time as well. Businesses will only pay you for two reasons, and two reasons only. One, right? You make them money, right? Two, you save them money. And this is
Mhm.
exactly what we're doing. And so I see exactly whatever that we're doing today is going to be very powerful. Can you imagine the impact we can have on the commodities exchange market, right? Can you imagine that we know everything before anybody else does, right? We
Absolutely.
do in every single agriculture industry. Every
Mhm.
single agriculture industry, because we are going to build a model that predicts what's going to happen, what's the yield going to be the next quarter, what's the yield going to be in the third quarter, what's the yield going to be in the fourth quarter. So we are building the model now as we speak. Can you imagine the impact, the power, of information that we have, and the amount of people that we can help as well, right? farmers can start earning more. We're saving the world as well, saving the planet, reducing pesticides. Yeah. So everything that we're doing now today, we're really really creating the next agriculture 3.0, man.
Three
And
things
yeah,
you summed it right. Like reducing pesticide is like saving the planet, right? You empowering farmer, you are saving a lot of humans and giving us food, right? And in the
absolutely.
other side, food security. Like, come on, what else is the priority? Like, let's engage the drones, and so that we can sip a coffee quietly and see the drones do its job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Based on the data given by SkyX, based on the data pulled by our sensors. That's what you want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and it's not just drones in the sky, So we are deploying autonomous machines on the ground as well, and hopefully one day humanoid robots as well. That
Hmm.
Yeah,
that's the vision. So now we have RTK, we have connectivity. We have soil data, we have weather data. There's so many things that we can do. We can deploy the robots into, let's say, harvesting. During harvesting, we can pinpoint JIT harvesting instead of cycles. Today, if you look at farms, right, they harvest in a cycle. So it could be an 18-day cycle, 22-day cycle, depending on the crops. But now we can tell them, hey guys, just here, okay? Deploy your guys just here, and then after that, you can come back. The next location is here. So now we can pinpoint exactly. So amount of time that we save, right? Efficiency. We can deploy the robots to pick it up, so they don't have to. We can reduce the manpower. So many things that we can do, So I truly believe in what we do, man, guys. So we are really, really, really creating an impact in agriculture and in the world.
impact per second, man. That's what we count.
Impact per
That's
second.
right, man. Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it's about.
absolutely. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
yeah.
actually, one piece I want to add to that is like, we're going from this world where economics was a lack-minded kind of limited resources game to a world where everything is zero marginal cost and infinite abundance, right? Once you put the sensor down, once you put the drones, once we have all of this hardware, for us to attach another functionality that's a value add functionality is basically free, right? So that's what zero
Absolutely.
marginal cost
Yeah.
is. Like for Google to now service another 100 million users is almost zero marginal cost because the infrastructure is there. As we set up this infrastructure, which is not easy, okay, if you're sitting there watching this going, yeah, this is done, click click, no, there's a lot of complexity that gets figured out. But once it's all working, for us to come up with new models of being able to add value is going to be huge. Because one thing that kind of clicked in my head, Paul, when you were saying like we're going to have access to this data before everybody else, I was imagining like in Wall Street, people fight to be close to the stock exchange so that they can have 1 millisecond earlier data, right? I'm like, the people are probably going to want to pay extra for the data to say, if give me the data half a millisecond before so I can trade on the commodities markets, and then we
That's
become
insider
the
trading, sir.
I'll just
it's
add one few
oh
percent so that everybody can understand, right? So I was in talks with one of the top company. I wouldn't name them. For they buy cocoa, right? And the price of cocoa is crazy. The fluctuation is huge, right? They come to know only after the price has increased. What
Mhm.
they gonna do?
Man, that's the
Imagine if
whole
we could
world. That's
give
the
them
whole
data.
world. That's the whole world. It's markup. It's just buy low, sell high. The whole world. I mean, here in the
Hey,
U.S.
I
right
buy
now,
high,
I
sell
see it with
low.
diesel. It's crazy.
Yeah, most of the world
All
buys
right,
high
sorry.
and
Go ahead.
sells low. Okay, it's very few that
Well,
actually ends
I
up
mean,
buying
I
low and
don't
selling high.
because
Yeah.
I'm broke. I mean, ask my bank. Damn.
Stop buying
Yeah,
dogs with hats on them, bro. You won't go broke. Okay, buy real infra. You'll be all right. Just and then
Don't
have the
talk
patience
about
of
Hank
five
like
years.
that, Hank. Don't take that.
yeah. We're creating a whole new financial market here, man.
Hmm.
If you think about it, a whole new financial market. Yeah, yeah. It's going to be so interesting. It's going to be so powerful, man, guys. Really.
Do you guys ever
most
get worried?
important is that.
Do you guys ever get worried?
Sorry.
Like,
About
does it ever really hit you about like the immensity of the change that we're bringing into the world? And sometimes, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but sometimes I look at the potential and I go, okay, well, this is going to take us the rest of our lives. You know, these aren't the kind of missions where it's like, oh, build a company and then a quick exit. Like, what I see is founders that are like deeply dedicated from their souls. And then sometimes I'm like, man, it would just be nice to just lay here and do nothing. But actually, missions are so big that, like, the potential of the impact sometimes kind of gets to me. Do you ever feel like that? Or do you even have time to think about that for how busy you are?
Yes, the latter. Actually,
I think about it 24/7, man. I think about it in my sleep as well, man. I eat, sleep, and dream everything that we
Yeah.
do, man, guys.
That's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
true
The
founder right
impact that we are
there.
creating, yeah, everything that we're creating. Yeah.
I
Oh, it's
have a
getting bright on your
motorcycle
side.
philosophy, right? I have a motorcycle philosophy, and motorcycle philosophy is this, and very simple. And you are not too excited about the destination. You are excited
Yeah.
about the journey, because
Journey, yeah.
towards the last part of the destination, you actually
That's
wish
yeah.
if it would be a
That's
bit delayed, I would be happy, right?
that's
Yeah,
also
yeah,
you
yeah.
you how you go after girls, right? You enjoy the process.
I can't talk much. I may be giving it the mic to Duck Virus.
Facts, bro. Facts. These are life
Yeah,
lessons being
yeah.
told.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, man. I think for me, it's a journey as well, not the destination as well. Yeah, it's the journey, the journey of getting there, creating something that has a big impact to the world, that's what I'm after as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
agree.
I knew that was going to be your answer.
Yeah.
I love it, guys.
Frank?
Love it. Oh, hell yeah. That's early morning, man.
Yeah,
That's
we are
DGen life
I,
right there.
not what I think. Is Can it be
It's
Bro, I
morning.
haven't
different?
fell asleep. I haven't fell asleep since our last live.
start drinking again.
Crazy, this guy.
Well, no. I just got home. No. But I.
It's Friday night, It's Friday night
Oh
in
wait, no.
in Asia.
It's
Yeah,
always Friday night for this
It's
guy.
Friday
Trust me.
in
He's
America, and
Hey,
it's something about
everyone's got a
He's
independence.
drink,
born in
yeah,
Friday
yeah.
night, man.
We're supposed to blow fireworks and shit today. I don't know. We'll see. No, but
I like how
bro,
you're a
I'm
true
telling you
representation
guys.
of DGens, a real DGen, like not these internet DGens, like a real world actual DGen,
I'm a
full blooded.
fucking. Let's go,
With that purple
bro.
hair for sure. Let's
Bro, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Listen, yo, I'm telling you. Blimps are going to be in the sky, flying cars are going to be everywhere, and drones are going to deliver all of our packages in less than 2 years. Half the
go.
workforce is going to be laid off. Not sure what they're going to do yet. Maybe trade meme tokens. I don't know. I mean, who's going to need, somebody to work a counter anymore? Who's going to need, these little stupid jobs that, people have to pay healthcare for? This is fixing to be obsolete. So what are all these people going to do? What are all these people going to do?
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen, man.
Drone
I can answer your.
pilots.
No, I can tell you what's going to happen. People, okay, so I envision a future whereby uh, the robots will be working for us. We will be investing into the robots and we'll be deploying them to do the work. Can you imagine? I
Mhm.
invest in a humanoid robot. And just imagine this, yeah. I invest in a humanoid robot to work in a farm. Okay. Right. I'm sitting at home. I'm giving commands to the robot, telling the robotic dog, telling the humanoid robots what to do. But I'm not at a farm, but I'm sitting at home. But I'm helping the farmer. I'm deploying a robot to help the farmer. The farmer don't need to invest in the robots.
Hmm.
Can you imagine that? This is true machine economy, and I think that's going to happen one day, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I can deploy
Definitely.
It's
10
already
robots to work for
here.
me.
It's
We are
Yeah, I
not
coming.
that
can.
far, by the way. We
Yeah.
are inch closer.
We're not.
We're
Exactly.
way inch
That's exactly what all of us are building now. We're building
Yeah.
we're seeding it now to bring it to a stage whereby everybody can come and say, hey guys, okay, we need to deploy 10 humanoid robots here because there's work to be done because we got the data and we need to start harvesting slightly earlier because the data says so. So, well, deploy the robots work for you, and we're sitting at home.
That's it.
We have
Friday night
many
all the
people
time.
working for
Like
exactly.
Frank and Dark Virus, Friday night all the time.
Friday night, every day, man. Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine? And I think that is really going to happen. That's a real machine economy. I guarantee that's going to happen, man,
Hmm.
guys, for sure. Yeah,
Hmm.
No, it
yeah.
is,
We're going
but
to sit
what
at home,
happens to the
deploy.
workforce? What happens to all these people? I mean, I promise you, it's gonna
The
happen,
people
bro.
have to
All right,
the
Simba,
people
go.
have to live a life of purpose,
Yeah.
right? I love what you're saying, Paul, because like when people think about post AGI economics and they think about, okay, what happens when consciousness is infinite and all this stuff, what actually happens is uh, we have universal basic income, but not just out of money printed out of thin air. We have robots working and sharing into the economy, and actually that's what's paying back to people. And then the people are left to sit there and ponder what the fuck is their purpose. I think one of the biggest issues that's happening in the world right now is have lost their purpose. People have started doing jobs, and people have become cogs in this machine. Now we make machines the cogs in the machines, and people can sit and look at their genuine purpose. And the people, coming here to Bali is such a mind awakening thing, because so many people come here after they've done their tour of duty and they've retired and everything, but then you have to sit there and reflect on yourself and go, what's my soul's mission? What service do I want to have to humanity? What do I want to dedicate my life to? If I don't need money, what do I do? And you will see CEOs I would not be surprised if we see Paul start to teach Kundalini yoga 20 years from now. And Frank ends up being a hypnotist or something that's like healing people from within. You see
He's already
legends who've
hypnotic,
done
by the
stuff
way.
like this.
Yeah,
When he was
yeah.
speaking in Abu Dhabi, he was hypnotizing people anyway. So yeah, that's a good description, Paul. Frank.
Me and
Yeah.
Yoga will be broke in the future because we give it back to everybody else.
Yeah, that's fun,
Hey,
man.
that ain't broke, brother. That is abundance beyond everything, right? Like it's when
Oh,
you're
you
able to
can't
give that
buy
you
that
actually
kind
are
of love,
truly in the most
bro.
highest abundance.
You can't mint it. You can't
Amen.
buy it with money. There's some things you can't buy with money, man. Just to see a smile on the farmer's face,
Exactly.
bro. Ah, heartstrings.
And
Show
legacy, brother. Legacy.
the
Like
SkyX device
what
now.
we're leaving to the world is a legacy. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Shows the SkyX device now. Where is it?
Yeah, show us the SkyX.
Oh hell yeah! Look, that's awesome, guys.
Hey, quit messing with the data, bub.
You were
Oh
messing
no,
with
no,
the
I was
data.
just saying. I was saying, yeah. Sorry,
you
Frank.
you
That's false data. False data.
you
My
lose
bad, bro.
half
My bad.
half our
My
reward
bad.
today.
No, no, no. I know.
Exactly.
Messing with the data.
I know. I know. I really do,
Moisture,
and that's one
wind,
of the biggest things.
air
I'm really
quality.
big about weather data. I mean, I've been so I was a big like supporter of like uh you know obviously Frank, Weather Underground,
Yeah, yeah.
all those other people. But yeah, I still run, yeah, one of those. I don't have a Weather XM in the back, or I got my SkyX, but yeah, I still have one of those because I like the integration of the app, because unfortunately, kind of like Google or whatnot, they steal everybody else's data, even though they don't know. That's why I love to use Google Maps, because I can tell to the inch when I have to stop, because it's literally that accurate, because they steal all that data. But, the weather, I mean, that's not Weather XM, but the Weather Underground, the Weather Channel, whatnot, is still all together or whatnot. But I don't get rewarded for that. But I still love to see, like my actual data. That's like my weather porn, bro. I love weather. I live in Oklahoma. I used to grow up chasing twisters, doing crazy stuff, getting hit by hail. I mean, I shoot guns at tornadoes while I'm drinking a beer, bro. I
That's
mean, I
very
mean,
American
I
of
mean,
you, bro.
weather is amazing. I've been through. I drive for a
That is
living.
so
Yeah, weather
American.
geek.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't Merc. I almost hit a bald eagle, by the way. Hey, shh, don't tell anybody. Yesterday, no way, it was yesterday. I almost hit a bald eagle in Kansas. I was driving through, and it was like eating a carcass. And I like try to move over, and then I realized, oh shit, that's a bald eagle. If I hit it, it's a fucking American offense. I'll go to jail.
Yeah, you go to jail.
But it was still
Yeah.
pretty. You don't see him that much. Yeah, no. Yeah, Trump would have totally put me in the. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know what's going with that, but yeah,
No, I love it.
yeah. Go ahead, Simba. Please help a
So
brother.
now in I got to run in a few minutes too. So in closing, I would love for us to just go around and just what's like a little message that we want to leave to our community, because a lot of people ask, especially speaking to here, is they're like, okay, I can sign up for the kind of app or tech or whatever you want. Beyond that, what would you like me to do, and how can I contribute into the pod, and how can I accelerate these changes?
So what I would like to say to all the community members, that what Paul said this at the start, right? With that much of implementation, somebody need to sponsor the sensors, right? Somebody need to sponsor these devices. Frank, although was putting all the solution in such a short time, but it requires immense investment to put a SkyX sensor, to put a soil sensor, right? And to Paul, that these massive drones are too expensive, right? So all these require investment. So communities are not only going to help in investment and have that, the shared piece of the shared economy, also can generate voice so that others can hear about it. So it works both ways, right? So I would say that, yeah, there is a lot of coming for the community. We just don't want to sell like a meme coin, right? So let's create a shared economy, and let's see if we can be having a small stake of it.
Right. Yeah, maybe I'll go next then. But traditionally, if you look at DePIN projects, right, they are very, very localized, right? That means to say that if I'm living in this city, if I want to install a weather station, I'll buy a weather station and I'll install it in a place where I live or where I work, isn't it? Yeah, but if you today, whatever they were doing today, we are opening DePIN to the world. That means to say that you don't even need to be living in Malaysia. You don't even need to be in Thailand. You don't even need to be in Bali. You don't even need to be in Indonesia. All right, but you can invest, and we will do the deployment for you. That's exactly what we do. Yeah. We bring value, enabler. So we do the deployment. We find the business. We do the deployment. Then we bring the DePIN projects in. So today, we it's truly open economy. Yeah, because you can invest in the projects that we are deploying in Malaysia or Indonesia or Thailand. So it's something for everyone to think about. DePIN is cross border now. Okay, cross-border, no more localized anymore. Yeah. So I think this is a great opportunity for the community and Web3 community to really look into this and yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, probably I will have. Yeah, Simba, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead. I'll go last.
Yeah, I'll have one last sentence, right? I think founders of Web3 companies, or founders of DePIN companies, or in this world, working on real world applications, bring real value to the world, are precious. So just give us a little patience. We need your support. We need your help. We need your patience to make it work. And as long as it works, I think we'll be living in a better world.
I love that. Man,
And
I don't even want to say
Simba,
anything.
take away.
That is like a message of hope that I would just like to leave. I wish we could just leave it there, but it's 100% true. Now, like, you figure out what is your soul's mission. What is your purpose in this world? The viewer, whoever this is that's listening to this. If you're the type of person where you have the expertise and you want to get involved in some capacity, get involved. If you're an investor who's looking to, let's say, invest in tech in emerging markets, it's nearly impossible to find good tech companies to invest in emerging markets. But investing in a drone, investing in a sensor, is a very tangible way where you can directly invest into tech, into emerging markets. No implementation is being done by legends, and still have custody of the actual technology yourself, knowing your money is going to something good, and then knowing the impact that's being created is something that you can actually sleep well with, and know you leave a legacy. And I love what Frank just said, that in a lot of these kind of spaces, and especially in the world that we live in, the ADD crypto world, it's really easy to just wonder why things aren't done within 40 seconds, right? And then we just forget about it and we move to the next thing. These are big missions that we're going on, so just stick with us, get more people involved into the mission, and genuinely explain to them the impact that's happening, and however you want to get in, because this is the new way of life that's being built. The new earth is being built.
That's so wonderful summed up, Simba.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to our banter and shenanigans. Okay. Thank you for joining this stream for a second time. For those of you who did, guys, this has been a genuine pleasure. Like, this was really fun. We got to get together again. Until then, stay legendary wherever you are. We love you. Thank you guys for your time.
Guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys. We'll get you again.
Right.
Thank
Bye,
you so
guys.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Yo,
Likewise.
how much you pay him to say that? That was an epic
Cheers,
ending.
cheers.
I love you guys.
Cheers.
See y'all. Keep changing the
Take care.
world.
See you
Bye.
guys. Take care. Bye.